That's why we're all sold out. That's why we're all sold out. That's why we're all sold out. That's why we're all sold out.
Tickets went on sale 2nd of August. 24 hours later, all sold out. This is the 7th time he sold out a venue, I believe. The 7th time. 60,000+ tickets here. In all truth, it was expected, so there's no need to harp on about it too much. A lot of the tickets, though, let's not get it twisted. And this is what one website didn't understand. They were saying, well, it's not all the fans buying the tickets. It's opportunists who are selling the tickets on. Well, who are they selling them to? They're selling them to fans who are willing to pay exorbitant prices for these tickets on the secondary market. If anything, that adds to Joshua's power as a draw, that they're willing to pay so much for the tickets. So according to Boxing UK, already £40 tickets for Joshua USYK are selling on StubHub fan-to-fan resales for over £400. And £100 tickets are going for almost £900. Now, are these ticket touts squeezing out boxing fans? Yeah, of course they are. They're buying up all them tickets from early. I assume that's how they do it. And there were a lot of people complaining they couldn't get a ticket. There was a lot of people. Now in 2018, AEG, they banned anyone from making more than 10% markup on any ticket to try and thwart the efforts of the ticket touts. But, you know, a lot of people are trying to address the situation with Eddie, but what can he say? Like he said in 2018, we only sell face value tickets. And unless anyone could prove otherwise, you can be suspicious, and I don't blame anyone for being suspicious, but he's saying he's not getting no money at all from the overpriced tickets on the secondary market. And if he says that, well, all you can be is suspicious, but what can you prove? I mean, do I believe Eddie is creaming a whole lot of money from off the secondary market? No, it's just too risky. Now, I don't know if Eddie is still, or should I say MATCHROOM, if they're still sponsored by StubHub. They were one of their sponsors. And a lot of people were critical of that. How so many tickets get on there and then being sold on at high prices. Frank Warren was critical, and then a whole load of Tyson Fury Wilder tickets ended up on there, didn't they, for the first fight. And then when Frank was approached, oh, I don't know nothing about it. It's what it is. The Olympic finals finish on Sunday. So Rob McCracken will have missed a couple of weeks from the Joshua camp in preparation for USYK. Some people are asking if that's going to have an effect on AJ. And the answer is unequivocally no. AJ is a seasoned heavyweight pro right now. Maybe the most seasoned heavyweight pro out there. Even though he's been a pro less time than Wilder and Fury. He's competed for more belts and his resume is better than both of theirs. More mandatories than both of them. The best heavyweight resume out there. And he hasn't got enough credit for that, in my opinion. Joshua acknowledged that USYK is bringing in Vasily Lomachenko's dad. So USYK is changing a few things. Because as Joshua pointed out, the people that he and USYK are working with have a wealth of knowledge. And it's no different with AJ. He's got Angel Fernandez and Joby Clayton. They've been in that team for a long time. If AJ needs to talk to Robert McCracken, they can phone each other, have a dialogue there. Eddie Hearn told Sky Sports AJ's preparation is 365 days per year, not just an 8-week camp. Rob will be missing for a couple of weeks. And if you're a consummate pro, that's just how that is. If there are any slip-ups from AJ, there are no excuses. None at all. He's had a full camp to prepare for USYK, so there will be no excuses. Not from me anyway. Hopefully no slip-up. The Nick Webb Fabio Wardley poll that I had, there's 624 votes. Nick Webb, 25%. Fabio Wardley, 75%. So Fab's a big favourite to win this, according to my poll. Now, while I'm a neutral observer, I have reasons for why I would prefer Nick Webb to win. Because if Fabio wins, I don't think he's going to fight Alan Babbage. They're in the same stable with Dillian. But providing Babbage gets past Alan Bennett and Webb gets past Wardley, that's the next fight. Webb versus Wardley is for the English heavyweight title on the undercard of Jazza Dickens versus Kid Galahad for the vacant IBF World Featherweight title. Who's going to become champion? Galahad or Dickens? The Wayne was funny. Babbage opened his arms out wide like to say, yo, what? To Bennett. Bennett pulled his mask. BABIC gave him a soft little slap. Bennett gave him a harder slap back, a right-hander. People are saying, it rocked BABIC. It didn't rock BABIC. It caught him, and the security pulled him, so it kind of made it look like the slap rocked BABIC. He didn't rock him. But, you know, a lot of people are saying, well, BABIC didn't react like a savage to that. I think it stunned him a little. But we'll see tomorrow, innit? Bennett has promised to stand toe-to-toe with him. BABIC is a bit of a guilty pleasure because he's funny. I find him funny. I mean, the whole savage caveman persona is funny because he really plays up to it. So, Michael Benson tweet here. Eddie Hearn has revealed that he thinks the CANELO BIVOL fight will take place at catchweight if it gets done for September the 18th. The weight will be made between 168 and 175 with BIVOL's WBA light heavyweight title still on the line. Well, everybody's getting upset. Canelo's draining BIVOL. It depends how much BIVOL wants it. How great does he want to be? This is down to his own career maintenance and not anyone else's. It's not down to Canelo to do career maintenance on BIVOL's career. If he wants to be great, well, this is an opportunity. But if he feels he's compromising his chances of winning, his unbeaten record, by potentially draining himself, then he's free to pass up the fight. I don't see why everyone's getting so tight for. Now, my opinion is Canelo's already had one world title win at 175 with a rehydration clause, and now he wants another concession at light heavy. Well, his career will be marred by the amount of catch weights and the other fights he's had with rehydration clauses. BIVOL's issue here is he's already said that he can make 168 and fight for titles there. So him shedding a couple of pounds to make a Canelo fight shouldn't be too much of an issue, by admission of his own words. What was we expecting? BIVOL can box. BIVOL can box very well. And against a naturally smaller man, you could conceive BIVOL pulling it off. BIVOL's still waiting for a career-defining win. I mean, he's not a kid. He's 30 years of age. 30. A few months younger than Canelo. Just a few months. And he still hasn't had a career-defining fight. So Canelo's putting the pressure on. Eddie Hearn says they're running out of time to finalize a deal for the fight on the 18th, which to me is a bluff. They're trying to rush BIVOL into taking the fight, accepting the catch weight, and then in a few weeks' time, BIVOL could have an L on his record and no belt. Legacy Management, I believe an American company, are going to hold a strong card next Friday from the prestigious Atlantis, the Palm Dubai, Saudi Arabia. Austin Trout will headline it. They're saying it will be a chance for him to become a two-time world champion. Why? What belt is on the line? And the fight's over 10 rounds. What championship fight, world championship fight is over 10 rounds? Anthony Sims, who lost his unbeaten record, I believe on DAZN, he's attempting to bounce back with Legacy Management. Looks like they gave him a cream puff with Hearn and David Perez's opponent. Don't know anything about him, but won't be no trouble for Anthony, I wouldn't have thought. Mike Perez is also on the card. He wants to fight Maurice Bradis, the rematch. I don't think nobody wants to see that fight again, to be honest. He says he's in shape and he believes he can become world champion. So the Saudis have got the boxing buzz and they want to host cards. And I don't know how much fighters Legacy Management have on board, but if they can get guys like Trout, Perez, Sims, they don't have to pay the earth to get them over there, and they can put on some decent cards. Because a lot of the people attending them cards in Saudi, a lot of them might not be hardcore fans, but they want to have an evening out, watch a bit of boxing, so they're not studying the form guide of who's elite from who's not. So that could be sustainable for the Saudis until maybe they get bored of it, or they want to take it to the next level and get some bigger fights with more world-rated fighters. Bob Arum is doing a lot of talking about Anthony Joshua. I don't think he's elite. He said Joshua isn't a big deal in America. Wilder and Fury 3 is a bigger fight than Joshua and Fury. And all of this is to sell the Wilder and Fury 3 fight. That's all it is. I mean, if Joshua isn't that big a deal, why does Bob Arum talk about him so much, is the question. Then he said he's rooting for USYK to beat Joshua because USYK has a relationship with Lomachenko and Lomachenko signed him. So you don't know USYK. His association with USYK is he knows someone who knows USYK. USYK beats Joshua. That $75 million payday is gone. Saudis are not going to pay $75 million for USYK because he's not the attraction that Joshua is. They're not. Plus there's going to be a rematch as well. So you're basically saying you want that massive payday to go down the drain for Fury. And we're supposed to believe that Bob wanted Fury and AJ to happen? Added to all the negativity that Bob Arum and Frank Warren were pouring onto the fight, like they didn't want it to happen. It sounds ridiculous. If AJ beats USYK and Fury beats Wilder, or if Fury beats Wilder, don't expect neither party, Fury or Wilder, to make that fight. For whatever reason it is, just don't expect it to happen. Because there's something weird between Team Fury and Team Wilder. Something really weird with them making that AJ fight. I think a lot of the resentment Bob has for Anthony Joshua is not so much Joshua, but his hatred for Eddie. Probably thinks that if AJ goes down, Eddie's empire is crushed. A lot of people believe that. I'm not so sure. I think it does significant damage to Eddie's empire, but I don't think it would be crushed. Bob keeps talking about America. Maybe if he wasn't so preoccupied with America, he would look to get a UK broadcaster for Josh Taylor when he fought for Undisputed in America. Josh Taylor's begging Sky to air his fight even up till now. Maybe he would have got a British broadcaster for Wilder and Fury before it got postponed because of the COVID. I wonder if they'll get one this time. America. And then you're bitching and moaning when no UK broadcaster wants to touch Lopez and Lomachenko. Let this be a warning to any British fighters who've medalled in the Olympics. Don't sign with that guy, or you're going to lose all ties to your home base here. That's what's going to happen. So what if Sky are airing top-ranked cards? We're talking 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning. You're going to lose contact with your home base in the UK. I hope Fury and Joshua happens in the UK. Really? Like, Eddie exposed that. Because his bottom line will be compromised. When there's no party that can match the numbers that the Saudis pitched up. It's a load of bullshit. Trying to butter up the British fans after he fucked up the undisputed fight between 2 British fighters. He's full of crap. I tell you what, if you want to impress the British market, why don't you make Wilder and Fury free in Britain? The first 2 have been in America. And Fury's won both of them in most people's eyes. Stop bullshitting. So Jack Catterrall finally gets his mandated shot against Josh Taylor at the SSE Hydro in Glasgow, December the 18th. All 4 belts on the line. Catterrall made a wise decision to step aside and let Josh Taylor fight for Undisputed. Now he gets to fight for all 4 belts. So he's going to get the beating of his life, more than likely. The fights I remember of Catterrall was with Tyrone McKenna and O'Hara Davis, and he didn't shine in neither. You would hope the fight will be on BT as well as ESPN, but with Bob Arum's track record with British fighters and Frank Warren's lack of aggression for bidding for fights recently, you can never tell. What is the future for Frank Warren and BT? A lot of people observed after Frank praised the DAZN debut where Leigh Woods won the world title. He praised the card, said there was some good fights in there. You know, previously Frank might have said, nah, I didn't see it, or, you know, trying to throw some shade in it, but he was complimentary, and it's led people to speculate on BT's future, because if you go on the search engine and press BT for sale, there's a lot of speculation that ITV were going to possibly buy it, and now they're saying DAZN might buy BT Sports. And where would that leave Frank Warren? It would leave Frank Warren's position there at the discretion of DAZN if they want to keep him on there. Now, if they was to buy BT Sports, I would advise them to keep Frank on there. There's more than enough room for Eddie to do what he's doing, especially as he has a whole load of interests in America as well as Britain. He's looking at the Mexican market, the Italian market, this market, that market. Keep Frank on. The way they reacted in the comment section. Oh, DAZN definitely buying BT. Frank trying to butter them up. People are so cynical. So cynical. You gotta love it. Michael Conlon, ranked number 4 in the world. TJ Doheny, ranked number 5, 2 Irish lads. They're fighting for the WBA interim belt. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, we just saw Leigh Wood fight for a WBA super featherweight title last week. Leo Santa Cruz hasn't defended for about 2 years and he's the super champion. And now we've got an interim champion. Why are the WBA doing this? And how did MTK pull this off? You're ranked number 4 and 5 fighting for the interim title. Wouldn't number 1 and 2 fight for that? You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. And it's going to be broadcast on ESPN. And from what I was hearing, most of the ESPN cards are going to go on Sky. Well, this ain't going on Sky, and it's a prime time card. It's on the Fight website. If you don't have ESPN, then for the rest of the world, it's on Fight. So it's all confusing. No disrespect to Fight. It's a good idea, but nobody in England, maybe in Ireland, but no one in England is going to pay $7.99 to watch Michael Conlan and Dehaney, if that's how you pronounce it. He just hasn't been built up in the UK or in England. There's no country outside of Ireland who are going to shell out $7.99 on the Fight pay-per-view platform. It's just not going to happen. Who's the featherweight champion? The super champion of the WBA hasn't fought for that belt for 2 years. Leigh Wood won, the regular belt last week. Michael Conlan is fighting for the interim belt tonight. Tomorrow, Kid Galahad is fighting for the IBF featherweight belt against Jazza Dickens. Gary Russell fights once a year. He's the WBC champion. Emmanuel Navarrete, WBO. He's a decent fighter, but we're not seeing him tying up any straps with any of them. Too watered down. The problem with Rigondeaux recently is he's been fighting in the pocket a lot more, having slugfests, which theoretically would play into the hands of an aggressive type like Casimero. Now, is he trying to be more crowd-pleasing, or is age robbing him of his reflexes and his legs? It's just easier to trade. John Real Casimero, I think he believes he can just go in there and bludgeon Rigondeaux out of it. And while he is a hard hitter, very aggressive, if he doesn't know how to tie up against an experienced Cuban like Rigondeaux, who is taller than him and has a longer reach, and Rigondeaux is a master boxer, this could be an interesting fight. A lot of people who think Casimero is going to steamroll Rigondeaux are underestimating how strong Rigondeaux is. He's very strong. He understands the clinch. If Casimero can't push him around, he's going to find it hard to get set to land them big power shots, as Rigondeaux knows how to use his reach very well. I believe Rigondeaux can win this, but his age is an obvious concern. They're saying he's 40 on BoxRec, probably a little older actually. Rigondeaux has the tools to win this. Great counterpuncher from that southpaw stance. Casimero at 32 has the youth, aggression and power. But Rigondeaux's been sparring with bigger men all his life. Lomachenko was way bigger than Rigondeaux, and that's the only L on Rigondeaux's record. Does Casimero have the tools to open Rigondeaux up? Brute force alone might not do it. Lomachenko had to win in the clinch. He had to circle and use his size, his jab. He didn't just physically manhandle Rigondeaux. Does Casimero have these tools necessary? Will they be necessary? If Rigo's legs are dead and he fights Casimero in the pocket, then yes, Casimero can come in there crude and land power shots and perhaps wear Rigondeaux down. I've got this one as a 50-50. Really looking forward to this one. Great matchup for Casimero's WBO World Bantamweight title. Shouldn't this be a unification? Rigondeaux won a WBA strap against Solis, didn't he? I don't know. Anthony Yarde has a tune-up against Alex Theran on the 28th of this month. A lot of people have critiqued his opponent, who's been stopped 5 times and basically started his career as a middleweight. It's a tune-up opponent. You know, he's fighting Lyndon Arthur on October the 9th. What kind of opponent are people expecting Yarde to fight? An opponent who could jeopardize the rematch? You wanted him to fight a ranked opponent? No, that's not going to happen. He should dispatch this guy without getting injured, no cuts, or any threat of an upset. And then we go to Lyndon Arthur. Lyndon won a split decision last time out. It was a close run fight. I'm happy they're running it again. I'm hoping this one will be a little more entertaining. Pat Barrett, Lyndon's coach, is fully focused on it. it seemed like Team Arthur were perhaps looking to go elsewhere rather than that road of the rematch. But they're focused now. They're focused on it. Lyndon thinks he'll beat him easy again. Although, was it really easy first time? I don't know. Yarde has added James Cook into the mix. Is he going to make a difference? Cook is a former European and British champion at 168. A good fighter. Should be a good addition to the team with Tunde and Ade. Pat Barrett, former European and British champion at 140. One of the best domestic level and European level punchers. You'll see. He's saying he's forgetting about the first fight and they're preparing for this one like the first fight didn't happen. I'm paraphrasing a little. And that makes sense. Although Lyndon's jab was a very good point scorer in the first fight, and if it ain't broke, I guess don't fix it. Can he add some more offense to the arsenal? Or does he need to? I believe Yarde has to get close up to Lyndon and muscle him, use that muscular physique and break him down to the body. We saw against Kovalev when Yarde adopted that type of fight, walking his man down. To me, he looked world class. If he can maintain that over a succession of rounds, I like that. I like that. And he doesn't really want to get into a boxing match with Lyndon because Lyndon is the taller, rangier guy. I think he needs to turn it into a slugfest and not try and roll shots and counter so much. I don't think he should abandon that totally because that's who he is. But Yarde will find, not being the tallest light heavyweight, you can't always try and fight that pretty fight. Sometimes you've got to just get the job done. And even if it looks a little ugly, if he is physically stronger than Lyndon Arthur, I think he needs to prove it in this fight here. Or he might be on the end of another points loss, getting outboxed. Big up Black Flash Promotions, Pat Barrett, Lyndon, and Zelfa, whose mum passed away recently. Zelfa's using that as fuel to motivate him. No time off. August the 29th, Danny Dubois and Tommy Fury from the Queensbury stable will be heading off to America as part of the Jake Paul Tyrone Woodley show in Cleveland. Dubois will be taking on, who is described here on Bad Left Hook, a club fighter named Joe Casumano. 19 wins, 3 losses, 17 knockouts. While Tommy takes on an MMA fighter who is 0-1 in boxing. Strange choice of opponent. Now, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to work out that Fury is being checked out as a potential opponent for Jake, if Jake can beat Tyrone Woodley. Dubois, he's still in rehabilitation after losing to Joe Joyce, so we're not expecting Frank Warren to put him in with any killers as yet. He's training with Shane McGuigan, so they need to bed in that relationship and get Daniel to work on some new things. Why Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren continue to bump heads, I don't know. Frank announced Yarde versus Arthur on October the 9th. And Eddie's put in Liam Smith versus Fowler, the Battle of Liverpool, on October the 9th as well at the MS Arena. I like this fight. A lot of people think that Liam Smith, more experienced, has fought the likes of Canelo, Munguia, Liam Williams, the Russian cat he fought in Russia just a few months ago. Looked like Liam was on the end of a bad decision. Putting a lot of stock in Liam Smith, but Anthony Fowler didn't look spectacular against his last opponent, admittedly, but he's boxing more under the tutelage of Shane McGuigan. And although he's not that much younger than Liam Smith, he has less miles on the clock. He hasn't had the wars that Liam Smith has had. The timing is everything. I don't know, I've got this one as a 50-50. I'm not going to pick, because I'm not sure. You know, if Eddie can make the winner of that face off with Ted Cheeseman, that's some good domestic boxing at 154. Crowd would be into that.